Hello, everyone. Surprise. Um, I decided to do a second one today because we already did read through Mark all the way through to the end of chapter 8. So, November the 8th talks about traditions and a priority problem. So, I went through this morning. I'll just quickly go through to the relevant section. I believe here would be this section here. So let's go. And the Pharisees and some of the scribes who had come from Jerusalem gathered to him, and they saw that some of his disciples were eating their bread with unclean, that is, unwashed hands. Now, it's not talking about they didn't wash their hands, it's that they didn't wash their hands properly. Properly being in the ritualistic, traditional sense that they had established beforehand. So you see here, and it does explain that. It says, for the Pharisees and all the Jews do not eat unless they wash their hands ritually, thus holding fast to the traditions of the elders. And when they come from the marketplace, they don't eat unless they wash, and there are many other traditions which they've received and hold fast to. For example, the washing of cups and pitchers, and bronze kettles, and dining couches. And the Pharisees and the scribes asked him, why do your disciples not live according to the tradition of the elders, but eat their bread with unclean hands? So he said to them, Isaiah prophesied correctly about you hypocrites, as it is written, this people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far, far away from me, and they worship me in vain, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men. Abandoning the commandment of God, you hold fast to the tradition of men. And he said to them, you splendidly ignore the commandments of God so that you can keep your tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and your mother, and the one who speaks evil of father or mother must certainly die. But you say, if a man says to his father or to his mother, whatever benefit you would have received from me is Corban, that is, a gift to God, you no longer permit him to do anything for his father or his mother, thus making void the word of God by your tradition that you've handed down. And you do many similar things such as this. So the teaching part we have here, or the note that follows this, is traditions make us feel secure. They give us a sense of camaraderie with those who came before us, and they can build a sense of community with those around us. But traditions handed down unexamined can be dangerous. We can apply them in contexts that differ from those in which they were born, often leading to disastrous results, offenses, and misunderstanding. More dangerously, we might consider these human traditions to be the commands of God or above his commands. In doing so, we hold opinions of people to be higher than God's. We commit the same type of idolatry we find rampant in the Old Testament. In many communities, traditions can carry the heavy weight of religiosity, as if God were the very author of the tradition. Many of the Pharisees in Jesus' time were known to tie up heavy burdens and put them on people's shoulders. When the Pharisees confront Jesus because his disciples did not wash ritually before eating, Jesus quotes from Isaiah, this people honors me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching his doctrines, the commandments of men. So, because their heart isn't actually set on the glory of God, their heart is on the traditions that they are following. They are doing all these things in vain because they are not following God's plan. To us, hand washing seems like a smart, valuable tradition. For these Pharisees, it is a cleansing ritual meant to protect against defilement. Jesus shows how the practice sharply conflicts with the state of their hearts, which are far from God. The Pharisees often excuse some of God's commands if it means following their traditions, like offering sacrifices while neglecting to provide for the material needs of parents. Are there areas in your life in which you hold others' opinions above those of God? Do you have nagging guilt because you're not living up to others' expectations? Why? Examine your life, seek biblical wisdom, and ask God to show you how best to serve Him. I hope you learned something from that or you got something from that. I will go ahead and read Proverbs 3 1 to 5. My child, do not forget my instruction, and may your heart guard my commands. This is good for both the practical child that this parent is talking to, but also there is quite possibly a command or something from God to us today. You know, don't forget His instruction. May your heart guard His commands. Have His commands in your heart. Let it come from within your heart. What do you love? Do you love the Word of God, or do you love Marvel movies, or what are you loving right now that's not God? For length of days, years of life, and peace they shall add to you. May loyal love and truth not forsake you. Bind them around your neck, write them upon your heart. And you shall find favor and good sense in the eyes of God and humankind. Trust Yahweh with all your heart. Do not lean towards your own understanding. Made a note here. It's a good one. I saw it on a verse of the day, and I'm going through a book called Trusting God by Jerry Bridges. I would recommend it. It's an audio book available on Audible, and it talks about how and why we should trust God in all circumstances. Um, that's a very short one. I will read 1 Kings 10 to 11 by myself. Uh, Maybe you can read it for yourself. But I hope you had a good day so far and that you have a blessed day further. Cheers, people. Have a good one.